Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 374 of the Mailright podcast. With the recent purchase by Inside Real Estate of Boomtown, we are going to spend a little bit more time and energy talking about KvCore than we usually do. Specifically for this podcast episode, we are going to talk about the updates that they announced at the end of 2022 in November, and we're going to dive into those and dissect them. Before we jump into what is a very specific and very meaty topic, I'd love to introduce, my name is Robert, by the way, and I'm a founder of InboundREM, but I'd love to introduce my co-host, whose name is Jonathan, for anybody who may not know him, and let him tell you a little bit about who he is and why you should listen to him. Go ahead, John.
Oh, thanks, Rob. I'm the joint founder of mail-right.com. We build beautiful websites on WordPress. Plus, we offer a CRM and a suite of other digital marketing tools to convert possible leads into actual customers. Back over to you, Robert.
Beautiful. All right. So, and I'm the founder of a company that does everything exactly opposite than the way that all these companies that we always talk about does. I'm a content provider, a storyteller, and I have an expertise in SEO, search engine optimization. So we produce great content, we help get it found. So here's, oh wait, I'm putting it on my screen like you all can see my screen. So here we're gonna jump right into it. But before we do, John, I wanna make sure that everybody understands the way that these big real estate prop tech companies release their updates. First and foremost, the vast majority of these systems haven't updated themselves in any significant way in at least 5 to 7 years. In KvCore's case, the last major batch of actual updates that changed the core functionality of their CRM took place in 2016. They've had 5 or 6 years of what are called hot fixes and they're releasing them as product news on their website. But were they product updates? Not really. They were more like people fine-tuning the system that they're already in, big customers, big teams coming in and saying, we want this one little thing added to this very specific piece of functionality. KvCore going, okay, developing it into the platform, and then launching it to everybody who probably isn't even going to use it, and calling it a product update. Was it really a product update? No, it wasn't. It was a, I mean, yes, in the most technical way, yes, it was, but it wasn't meant for everybody. It wasn't meant for the average user. It was meant for somebody specific.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that it wasn't a real improvement to core functionality.
Correct. So, let's just dive into this. So ladies and gentlemen, you can't see it, it's off screen. I'm going to put it on my screen so it appears as if I'm looking at you in the camera, but the update announcement came in November 9th, 2022. All right, and then I did some YouTube videos and now we're doing a podcast. So first of all, one of my main beefs with KvCore has been that they have not done any design updates since they launched the product. Not really. And this still remains true. We're not going to talk about design updates unless you're talking about listing design. So certain pages have been enhanced in terms of user experience, but their websites have not been redesigned. Everybody listening to the show really needs to understand that. What they've done, the first set of enhancements, and almost all of the enhancements are going to be around the property display features of the site. Okay. One of the things that they did is they allowed sold listing carousels to be leveraged on the homepage. Normally, such a small enhancement would not cause me to say, hey, John, can we do a podcast on this? But I think that KvCore got this one right. For a very long time, social proof has been the way that you generate yourself more results. KvCore, one of my main, like, you can't customize their systems. Not really, not very much. They're one of the least customizable solutions on the marketplace. So you might wonder why they're so popular. It's because they managed to do cheap and efficient very well. And so the cheap and efficient part is something that real estate agents love, more than enough to give up customization, uniqueness, things like that. So one of those updates is you can now on the homepage add listings with a sold banner on them once they've been sold. I do not know if you can do it throughout the site. It would appear based on the notes on their own blog, the answer to that is no. You can only do it on the homepage. Still a feature that I really, really love that connects into social proof. So John, what do you think about that feature?
It's okay. It's about okay, isn't it? I think one of the main things is it's an enterprise level product, which was at the same price of some of its broker level competitors. And then they decided to do some deals with some large brokerages, and they did some very large package deals with agencies, brokerages that had tens of thousands of agents, regional brokerage, and they discounted heavily, and it's offered to a lot of agents as part of their monthly digital package, which they have to pay for as part of their brokerage charge. And they're having to pay for it anyway, or it's highly advised. It's either they're forced to buy it, or it's highly advised and they buy it because the normal price is quite expensive, but they get it at a tremendous discount, or they think they're getting it at a tremendous discount.
Agreed. Okay. So that's another thing, guys, that I'm just going to add on to John's. One thing that everybody needs to understand about KvCore, and I'm going to read it to you right now. Our featured areas effectively showcase your local expertise while capitalizing on how consumers search today with automated community-centric highlights. The trick here, guys, is automated. So if you are on a team of 50 and you have a KvCore site that your broker has given you, and all other 50 people are located in your area, you must understand that the automated data that is being presented on your website will be presented on every KvCore website, and thus it's repetitive. It will never rank for SEO. My supposition to anybody listening to the show is that it devalues your informational brand. We live in the information age, and I will never understand, as long as John and I do this show, why people don't understand that being informational and unique is a brand. It's an enormous brand for real estate agents. It's a huge brand. So why would you just pile on to people that are literally telling you we're going to do the same thing for everybody? It's going to be automatic, but it's cheap. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to drive an Edsel, drive an Edsel. Sorry, hugely weird reference there.
I think one of the main concerns with this, and I wanted to see if they've updated this through your own recent research, one of your main criticisms of it was the performance of the platform. You said it was so bad that you just couldn't face, when last time you did an extensive testing of the system, you just couldn't stand it because of the performance. I think that were one of your strongest statements. You said you just found it
slow.
Horrendous.
It was slow.
So what do you think? Do you think they've improved that at all, or do you think it's around the?
I haven't looked at it. I haven't logged into a cloud version of their CRM since I did that review, which was probably a year or two ago. So the original review still stands. It's still a cloud-based system. They've added a lot more people onto it. It's possible that they've deeply expanded their server base so that each individual user can have a faster, more seamless cloud use case out of it. I do not know. KvCore is oftentimes given to agents. Like, I just took on a new client today, John, that had 22 agents. And they've handed KvCore to their client and can't tell me if anybody's ever logged in. It's one of those things that you provide as a broker sometimes at $35 a seat, where 90% of the people that you're getting it for don't use it. And even if they pay for it themselves at $35 a month, they don't use it. So, and the ones that are using it, which is probably well over 110, the number that I saw published a few years ago by KvCore was 110,000 daily users. So that's slowing the system down. Now, let's just say they become far more popular and they have 300,000 daily users. That means that their server must be way more than what, like, their server capabilities must be way more than what they were previous. Have they kept up with that? I have no idea. I don't know. That is the answer.
That you need some cloud resources if you're running that amount of people into an app, and it's quite intensive. The other factor is it's all embracing. It is powerful, but it was aimed at a broker level, or somebody in a brokerage that was a digital manager, in my opinion. It's the same kind of level as Boomtown, which they have bought out recently, haven't they? They're merging, aren't they? Or Zinc, I always pronounce it CIN. Zinc. Mm-hmm. I always struggle, thank you. Zinc, which is another, what I see as a brokerage 100, 200, 500 level product, which is what Boomtown, was a brokerage that had 100, 200, 500 agents. And KvCore was not quite there, but similar. But then through a lot of discounting, EXP, they did a deal with EXP and their main agents to promote it on YouTube. It's been sold as a single agent type tool or small power team, but its origins are not really for that type of scenario in my mind. What do you feel what I've just said?
I would agree. Sorry, I was trying to think. I was going to go deep in the weeds, but I'm just going to say, yeah, I know, I agree with you.
It's just my interpretation. They just I think if you're going to look, if you're a single or a married couple or a small boutique power team or experienced broker with 4 or 5 junior agents, I think you'd probably be better off looking at something else, basically. But that's just my opinion. I think Bold Leads, Real Geeks, something like, or Mail Riot, or something like that. I'm not sure that, but it is enormously popular, isn't it? So,
well, by far and away the biggest system. With their purchase of Boomtown, they are now, besides Playster, they might have the largest install base. And I've heard rumors that Playster sold off a big percentage of its customer base to Brandco. So I don't know that to be true. I don't know what the arrangements are. I don't know what the contract is. I just want everybody to be clear. It's just something I heard that is unverified as of now. But if that's the case, then Playster actually tried to take care of the problem that you and I pointed out. Remember, hundreds of thousands of agents calling in for customer service. They sent that customer service contract to Brandco and tried to offload it from them entirely. That's what I heard. So whether or not that makes Inside Real Estate the largest user base by far, probably Inside Real Estate, hundreds of thousands of agents, I would guess, making it nobody even comes close to touching them. Having said all that, it's also, of all the big systems, least customizable. If I was going to list it, pros and cons, or give it an overall score, it would come in one of the lowest. I might even place Chime above KvCore. Yeah. But it is easy. There's so much content produced about it. Now, John, this is something I've talked to a lot about. I've oftentimes said it's not so much the system itself, it's people's ability to use it. Now, what KvCore has that nobody else has all the high-level entrepreneurial-minded content producers that sat here and are producing teams all over the US for EXP, and they're under a multi-level marketing system, which means that attraction of agents is a major part of the revenue model, if not the biggest part of the revenue model. So they sit here and do content explaining how to use these EXP sponsored tools ad nauseum. So now KvCore, even though it's one of the worst sites, it is actually one of the easiest to learn how to use at the highest level, because so many great people have done so much great content surrounding it. So now I always have to rejigger my reviews when it comes to KvCore, because it's more usable than the other systems, even though it's got all these features, because so many people have done tutorials on how they're producing deals using those individual features. That makes it more adoptable and profitable than other systems. So, but it's not as feature heavy or as fast or as friendly in many ways. So we're going to come back from our break in a second. We're going to go to break, I suppose I should say first. And then we're going to get into a little bit deeper into this. And one of the things that we're going to cover when we come back is an incredibly powerful subject that is going to be, we're a few months off. In 2023, it's going to be something that's in every single realtor's inbox, if it's not already. And you all need to be aware of it. It involves texting. KvCore finally got out ahead of everybody else. And I'm really impressed the fact that they're one of the first big people to address this problem. So without any further ado, we're going to go to break. John, if somebody would like to look you up, how would you like them to do that? Actually, not you specifically. Let's just say that somebody wanted to compare MailRight against KvCore. Where would you recommend they go to do that?
Just go to mail-right.com.
All right, perfect. And ladies and gentlemen, InboundREM is not really comparable. We're a different thing. We're looking for high-end, elite users that want to set themselves free from systems. So different type of client. But if you'd like to research me and understand what we do, just go to InboundREM.com.
That was one of his clients.
Yeah. And we'll take care of it. All right. We'll be right back. 373 or 374?
74.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 374 of the MailRight Show. We're so grateful that you're here. John and me are reviewing. We're having a dialogue about KvCore, and we're having a dialogue about its updates, which are the first in many, many years. One of the first things that they are leading the pack in is they are the first to insist on compliant text messaging options inside their platform. No longer can you send out an unlimited, unsupervised stream of texts from KvCore. Their language that they use to what is scaling down a feature, not scaling it up, but scaling it down, is a masterclass in marketing. Because it says, we are helping to ensure you are compliant in your marketing efforts through new opt-in language at various customer touchpoints. The new worry-free texting enables you to take advantage of KvCore's direct messaging capabilities, worry-free exclamation point. So what is that telling you? John, these guys have understood that they are abusing, that their clients are abusing text message marketing. It's one of my biggest frustrations in today, 2023, bleeding edge concerns, drop my historical stuff. I'm so I get calls and text messages all day long. It's illegal. Anybody not hear me? It's illegal. You should not be texting anybody on a text message marketing system. You must have them opt in the same way that you have to do it with telemarketing. You have to opt in. Or
I have people, I've never done business. I must have about 10 text messages a day, sometimes a lot more, from companies, business loans, health insurance, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure I never signed up for a lead magnet for most of these people. They've just bought in a list and they're texting me.
Right, which is illegal. And eventually there was a guy out there by the name of Zen Marketer. Eventually and what he did is he took all these companies to small claims. He used to do it for telemarketers, John, and he made hundreds of thousands of dollars every year because he won every single case. It is illegal. The fact that we as a consumer do not act on it is just an anomaly. here's what you guys as real estate agents, and every single person who listens to the show who's done real estate for longer than a year is going to nod their head to this. You have a concern that very few other professionals have. Your competing realtors are not your friends. I'm sorry, I'm trying to change this inside the real estate industry, but realtors are competitive and oftentimes they're snotty. So they will literally, if you break a rule that they themselves are following and you just don't happen to know that you're breaking the rule, they'll turn you in. Like, you've got probably 5 or 6 of your competitors on any email or marketing list. I know I do. I have every single competitor of mine, all the CEOs and CMOs and they're all on my email marketing list. I know that. I don't know if they're looking for me to stumble and fail, but with real estate agents, there's definitely something going on there that says that your own competition is going to turn you in. Google AdWords budgets are constantly hacked and inflated by agents. I know because I run paid accounts and I see how Google is catching the fraud, because it's fraud. If the same person who's a competitor clicks on your ad 15 times, that's a form of fraud. Like, they're just trying to make you pay 30 or 40 or 50 bucks or whatever it is, and they have no intention of doing anything with you. And they think, spend the $50, you bastard. So, John is barely keeping it together. So from a compliance standpoint, like, this is great. From a marketing standpoint, they just took something away from you and sugarcoated it, like, big time. It was the Wild West.
I got to admire their wording. They must have had a few meetings to get that wording like that. I am impressed.
Right? I told you, a masterclass in marketing. I mean, that's the sweetest way anybody's ever said, hey, we used to let you do whatever you want, and now you can't. Like, that's what that says. Like, and yet they're like, ha! Anyway.
Yeah. On to another feature, which I think you highlighted in your excellent video. Rob's got excellent video on the Inbound YouTube channel on his latest update review. Go and watch it, folks. But I think I watched it a couple of times, and I think one of the things you talked about was their map widget, which they've updated. Do you want to quickly give a description of that improvement or added feature?
So the map widget, which I'm looking at on the screen, it is pretty freaking cool, man. They've gone ahead and updated into polygon searches, which is where you can draw a map. So you can also here's what I liked. The user experience, the UX, and unfortunately, John, if I said specifics and you watched my video more recently, please catch me at the end of this. But I'm going to say this, one of the things I really enjoyed just in general was the experience on the old map system on KvCore was standard. It was blah. Like, with all the money they have, you could never understand why they just weren't doing a better job. This new map experience, I felt, was very slick looking. I just felt that way, and I've never felt that way about anything with KvCore. Those of you that have followed me who've watched my reviews know I'm very even-handed. It's very rare I say this many non-complimentary things about a provider. I think they got the map function right. I think it's very cool and very nice, and I really enjoyed it. Now, what did you think, John?
Yeah, I thought, I wouldn't say it's a major improvement, but for what it does in UX design and usability, it's a nice feature. Is it groundbreaking? No, but as an additional feature. My only concern about this is they're taking over Boomtown, they're marketing hard, they've got this deal with EXP. There's a lot of info on YouTube about it. They're pushing it hard. My concern is performance, because, like I say, it struck me because you are, when you're talking about these on your YouTube channel or in this podcast, you choose your words more carefully than me most times. I'm a bit wilder, but you quite strong wording when you were talking about utilizing their system. You know, you said it was awful. You know, it was really rough experience, and that was down to the performance.
It was to the performance. There's nothing unique about it. Even in their update that they are releasing to all of their customers, which I wish everybody could read, there are numerous. They are. I think that one of my southern relatives, which I haven't talked to in a long time, but they're saying, they were like, they're painting a dirty pig gold. Like, it's an old southern saying. Okay, here's some of the things that I'm just going to jump into that. Some of the things that they announced that we're not going to really cover in depth here is the listing machine and design center. Okay, what they allowed you to do is slightly better brand your listings on their service. That's it. A couple of updates that they literally are making it sound like this major upgrade, beautiful feature, and maybe it is for KvCore. They haven't even caught up to what's standard inside the feature. So yes, it's an upgrade for them. I agree. Is it an upgrade in general across all of the KvCore eco? Like, no, they're not doing anything interesting here. They're not doing anything unique. Go ahead. John really wants to say something.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me if I'm being fair here, because I am a competitor in some ways. I'm a tiny independent, you know. I think if you've been made to pay for it, if you're in your first year and you're part of EXP or you're part of a brokerage and part of the monthly digital fee that your brokerage is charging you, or you're being highly encouraged to use it because it integrates with the brokerage, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know, try and use it. The problem is, I know they've got the improvements, more customization by look, but it looks old-fashioned. It's not going to really brand you. But if you can't afford anything else and you've been made to semi-pay for it, you might as well set it up and use it. I don't think, you know, it's not going to, unless they got your email address, it's not going to show up high with Google because of the factors that you well know about, because that's your expertise, content marketing, SEO. It's not that KvCore is inherently bad in its structure. You might probably know a bit more about that than me. It's just that it's, you know, you, like all these platforms that you don't know, and you would be bonkers to spend a lot of money putting content on it. The only way that, apart from knowing the address, the only way you're going to get traffic is paid traffic through Facebook or Google. My problem with that is, and which has improved, you know, the map you're pointing out, a little bit more customization through the templates offered, is my main problem until they brought these updates is, yeah, you drove traffic to it. I think because of its look and that, the performance concerns, I think to convert those into email, into something you could remarket, is going to be lower than other platforms. Is this making sense?
Yeah. And I agree. And that's the way, that's some of the other things that KvCore has announced as far as their updates, this idea that they will provide templated in mass kind of updates. Another thing that they did was they basically created a print system where you can digitally print your listing pages out of a printer at your local location, and then take those printed flyers to listings and then hand those out. It's not unique, but it's cool. I like it. The all new Core Social is just KvCore finally acknowledging that social media is a strategy that should be paid attention to. But what they did is they took a library of content that they themselves produced, give you free access to it, and all the agents get to come and share it. They effectively are trying to lock their user base into something that most brands, like people like me, influencers. We are trying to produce really incredible content so that you will share it. KvCore is telling you, oh, to use our system right, share our content like everywhere.
Well, well, MailRite has that functionality, but the way we're kind of middled, I totally agree with what you say. But when it comes, Facebook page, because of what Facebook has done, it just will not generate. But you still got to have a reasonably active Facebook page, because you can have possible clientele check you over, and if you've got a Facebook page, which they will expect, and it's not been updated, it's not going to look well. Our system will also push so much content to Instagram. We suggest that you mix it with individual content. The reason why we still push it and it's still part of our system is a lot of agents don't understand about the volume required. So most, think producing 1 or 2 pieces a week. So we provide a mixture of semi-content, or we can offer individual programs, which cost a lot more. So we offer different options. So I see where KvCore are going from, but you are correct as well. It's filler to some extent, but it can be useful. But you are right. You've got to mix it with individual content where either they hire experts like you have on your team, or they hire on the lower end MailRite. But at least they're doing something, can't they?
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with that. At least they're doing something. And by the way, John did say something magical in one of his earlier statements. And I'm going to point out the magical thing he said. I think the KvCore is a great place for agents who are working for other big teams who are new to real estate. Man, don't try to become an expert social media person, expert digital marketer in your first year. Not unless you have a background in it, a love for it, a passion for it, for something that's really driving you. Other than that, learn the real estate business and use your KvCore account, press the auto post button, use all the tools the provider's giving you to try to make the job easy, so that you can develop your own opinions about posting content, see how your friends or family or audience responds to it. I have no doubt that if you were to contact KvCore or MailRite or any other company that does social media suggested content, that they probably have given it to their clients have used it, and in some cases gotten response and made money. No doubt, zero doubt, none. It's just when it comes to you're trying to establish your own footprint, really lock in your audience, my opinion is always the same thing. It has to be your own authentic voice in most of your messaging. Even if you were to use, like John said, even if you're going to use templated content, alter it, adapt it, put your voice into it, whatever. Make sure that people understand that you have something to say about it. Like if you're doing a meme, nothing wrong with posting somebody else's meme, but at least take the time to post a sentence or two about it, so that, with a hashtag or two.
It's just the volume. When they hire you, they're hiring your experience and your team's experience. You interview, you learn about the agency, the brokerage, or the individual broker agent. What they specialize. You customize the social media to the individual requirements of each customer. It's a bespoke service you're offering. MailRite's at a much lower. We can offer a bit of that, but we do not. We're aimed at a different type of clientele in the real estate industry.
So there is one thing that they have done that I don't have much experience with. So here is one place that KvCore decided to go in a different direction than every single other provider out there. I admire them for doing something different, John, regardless if I know how it functions. They announced something called AMP Stats. Now, AMP Stats plays into KvCore's mass popularity and the fact that so many EXP brokers are using them. If I had to tell you, I think that 30,000 of their customers are probably EXP agents. That makes them the EXP preferred broker, which makes they built functionality to do recruiting straight into the platform. Okay. I don't know. What they're doing is they're allowing you to vet candidates faster, check their past production as part of the platform,
Right.
Do net income comparisons, like you can check their income, which is going to tell you if they've been doing splits, not just the number of transactions they did, but how good they are doing double sides, things like that. All of that allows you to make the choice as a broker about whether or not you're going to select this candidate, assuming it works correctly and that it does what it's supposed to do. I don't know the answer to any of those. What I will say is that, to the best of my knowledge, they're the first platform to introduce something like this. I love the try. I love the swing. I love the, like,
I don't know, maybe you know, does the EXP, is it kind of set up where they have a preferred list of digital vendors, or is it exclusive deal that KvCore has done with EXP?
I don't think it's exclusive. They do have a large set of people that they work with, Keller Williams, EXP, just to name a few. Basically, all the big brokerages that still like hammer recruitment, usually KvCore is the place that they go. Keller Williams and EXP are definitely the top two, but between those top two, that's 220,000 licensed realtors, which makes it 10% of the real estate agents in the country. So it's a pretty big swing, just saying EXP and Keller Williams.
Yeah.
That is most of what they have here. There's some things that they said were upgraded functionality to the listing feature. I went through the set of listed things very carefully. What you could basically say is they changed a couple small things, put some gold paint on the pig, and called it a fresh piece of meat. It's not true. Okay.
Well, I think I think we got to do a shout out to the listeners now. If you're utilizing their platform, please outreach to either myself through the MailRight YouTube channel or Inbound Marketing, email me or message Robert, and just tell us what your experiences have been lately with the performance, because it's the performance I think is one of the main concerns of Robert and myself. Robert, based on his testing experience, me about what some other people have said to me directly, is that it's not been a fantastic experience. But please share yours with us about how you found the platform, because that's one of our major concerns, isn't it, Robert?
It is indeed. No doubt about it. John is correct. My email is robert@inboundrem.com. You can message me about your experience with KvCore. I'd love to hear it. If there's anything that's really unusual and we feature it, like if you give me a piece of information that I decide is relevant enough to update my review with, we will credit you, which means that you'll get a backlink, which is a big deal. All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. John, we're way past. We really got deep in the weeds with this. This is my jam, this stuff, getting deep in, trying to interpret it for all of you who listen to me, follow me, just try to make sure that you understand what is exciting and what's not. That's it. That's my hot take. John, if you wanted people to contact you to either ask a question about comparing your system to KvCore, or just asking you some questions in general, how would you like them to go about doing that?
Yeah, go to the mail-right.com website. I just want to point out, folks, for the basic system for one agent, we're the third of the cost to Real Geeks, to KvCore, unless you're getting it highly subsidized. We're one of the most cost-effective platforms out there. Plus, you have the insurance that it's a WordPress website, either one of our template solutions, but we offer option for semi to full custom solutions. And we give you a cast iron guarantee that if you get fed up with us, we will migrate your WordPress website somewhere else, so you're not locked in and you lose everything. We're one of the few providers, and like I say, I think the functionality that we offer is the equivalent to most of these platforms, but it's at a third of the cost. Back over to you, Rob.
Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for some kind of higher end customized solution, content based, setting yourself free from all platforms forever for the rest of your career, you can reach out to me at robert@inboundrem.com, or you can simply go to inboundrem.com and hit my about page or my services page. Either way, you'll find ways to contact me or my team and schedule a call. Everybody, listen, we so much appreciate you. We appreciate your patronage to our blog, to our blogs, respectively, to the show, which is a collaborative effort between the two of us. everywhere that you engage with us, John and I appreciate it. If there's anything that we can do, anything at all to improve the information that we're trying to provide for you, let one of us know. You'll probably be surprised by how responsive we are. That's it. John, anything else left you want to add?
No, okay. We've done a dive. I think we've offered some good information.
Cool.
We'll see them next week. See you later.
Bye, everybody.